Hi everyone, it's me, Sandy Cruz of Sandy K Nutrition, Health and Lifestyle Queen. For years now, I've been bringing to you conversations about wellness from incredible guests from all over the world. Discover a fresh take on healthy living for midlife and beyond, one that embraces balance and reason without letting only science dictate every aspect of our wellness. Join me and my guests as we explore ways that we can age gracefully with in-depth conversations about the thyroid, about hormones, and other alternative wellness options for you and your family. True wellness nurtures a healthy body, mind, spirit, and soul. And we cover all of these essential aspects to help you live a balanced, joyful life. Be sure to follow my show, rate it, review it, and share it. Always remember, my friends, balanced living works. And hi, everyone. Welcome to Sandy K Nutrition, Health and Lifestyle Queen. Today, I have a return guest. I have such a great relationship with Brenda Farrugia. She is a transformational quantum energy healer and coach dedicated to helping individuals and organizations restore balance and reconnect with their true potential and feel whole again. She empowers those who are ready to release limiting beliefs, and they need to elevate their energy because we all have that light within us, and Brenda really helps us to achieve this. Now, Brenda has worked with countless people through transformational journeys of healing and growth and self-discovery. And her approach blends intuitive insight with practical, evidence-based tools, helping clients cultivate resilience, confidence, and emotional well-being while raising their overall vibration. So with that, welcome, Brenda. Today, we are going to talk specifically about negative and limiting beliefs. And, we hear this a lot. And you'll hear, oh, yeah, I have all these negative beliefs and I have all these limiting beliefs, but there's nothing that concrete that we know on how to help ourselves release this so that it's not holding us back in our lives. And that's what we're going to talk about. So welcome, Brenda. Thank you for coming back.
Oh, thanks for having me, Sandy. And when we start talking, it just feels like talking to a friend or a client where I just really engage with what they're feeling, what they're going through. But today, I'd like to take this into a slightly different direction where I know I've been doing this for a long time, 15 years. And when I talk, sometimes I talk up here and a lot of people are like, what is she saying? Brenda's stuff works, but how is she explaining it? It's confusing. So today, with your help, we are going to bring it down in terms where people can understand. We all have negative beliefs. And one thing that I'll say is when people say meditate, meditate, it can be very frustrating because people are trying to quiet their mind down. If you look at meditation as being an awareness to the chatter, the negative beliefs that pop in your head, that's going to give you a good place to start to understanding what negative beliefs you hold. Self-reflection. So have you ever sat there, Sandy, I'm going to just have like 5 minutes for myself, and you're relaxing, and all of a sudden something comes in your head that says, get off your lazy butt and go get the kids' lunch ready. Or who do you think you are, relaxing? You got things to do. Or, you don't deserve this. Or you might be thinking about something you want to do later and you have these undeserving thoughts. You're not good enough. You should be scared. You're going to fail. Those are the things you want to pay attention to. Write them down, because that's going to give you a clue to what negative beliefs you hold in your subconscious mind.
Okay, so That's actually a perfect way to define what a negative belief is. It's those intrusive little thoughts that come up because I know, Brenda, I've had so many people say to me, I'm not self aware enough. I don't know how I feel. Right. But if you allow yourself to pay attention to, it's like those little voices that are popping up. So it's a great way to define what a negative or limiting belief is, right?
Yes. So they do show up in thoughts you have. Some people hear them as voices. We're all very different, so there's no right or wrong. But also, you can take it a step further now. Once you start being aware of, okay, I'm hearing these negative thoughts. Sometimes they may be your nagging mom as a kid coming back. You did it wrong. You did it wrong. You did it wrong. Or your brother saying, you're not good enough. You're ugly. Whatever it is. Like there's many, we have many, many, many examples. So write them down. But then you can take it a step further if you're curious and sit and take an inventory of your life. What are the recurring patterns, self-sabotaging patterns? It's funny, as we're preparing for this, I had this thought. And I'm going to put this out there to both men and women. You are perhaps looking for a partner, and someone great comes into your life. And then you say something so stupid that you would never say out of character, and the person never calls you back. And you're like, why did I say that? Now, this other person comes to you and you're not interested in them, they're not your type, or they're bad news. All of a sudden, all the right words are coming out and they want to see you again. And you're like, the person that I would have really preferred to be with, I scared them away with something I said that didn't make sense. This other person that's not good for me is working out nicely. That is a pattern a lot of women, a lot of men say, I keep picking up the wrong people and I keep sabotaging relationships that could be good. So what is it in them, in their subconscious, their negative beliefs, their own traumas that are causing them to act a certain way when it's good for them, to make the good things leave their life and allow the bad things to enter their lives? That's deep work. And not
Oh, yeah.
everyone's ready to look at that, but that's how sitting, reflecting, listening to the negative beliefs, then watching the patterns of behavior. Maybe they're relationship issues, maybe they're financial issues, maybe they're health issues. For instance, someone who might be not healthy and they know what they need to do. They need to eat a certain way. They need to lose some weight. They need to exercise, but they don't do it, but they know they should. There are limiting beliefs, not allowing them to move forward in that. There's fear. Say if I go to the gym and people laugh at me, say if I, or maybe I'll just have this last piece of this, or there's always excuses. Where do these excuses come from? It's in the subconscious, and they are deep in the subconscious, but they're showing themselves as a gift by the chatter we have in our heads, by the patterns we see going on in our life. I'm going to say the challenge here is, are you brave enough or are you courageous enough to say, I'm going to look within?
Well, if I think, for example, eating is a very good example, right? Because if you perfect example. Let's say you eat foods that make you feel awful. I don't like to food shame because I believe in balance. Like every once in a while, I think we should eat some foods that give us some pleasure and some joy. And, I'm always about balance. But let's say that you're always overeating, you're gaining a lot of weight. It's kind of like you're just not looking at what is this that's causing me to self-sabotage here.
Yeah. And you're so right. Sometimes, and these are all just general examples because we're all very unique individuals. Sometimes somebody has extra weight for protection. And the protection could be for so many different things. It could be something that was said to them when they were just a little baby, oh, you're too skinny. People die when they're skinny because a grandmother was in the war and they want the baby to be heavier. That goes into the subconscious. It's not safe to be skinny. And then the cells remember, and no matter what the person does, they can't lose weight. Then there's other things where maybe somebody was sexually abused. And if I put on extra weight, people will find me less attractive, and that's safe. There are so many different reasons. That's just two ideas or things that people have released during sessions. But we're so multidimensional. What I mean by that in simple forms is we're very complicated. Everyone's very unique. We come in with our own histories, our own experiences, our own memories. So I cannot say this person's issue is that, or my issue is that, or this, because it's kind of in layers. It's like, I tackle one thing of myself and then it opens up. Oh, here I am, something hiding behind that. And then I let go of that negatively. Oh, here I am. There's another one. So we heal layer by layer, but we heal what's presenting up first. So start to deal with the negative beliefs that you can hear in your mind chatter and start to work on what the patterns you're seeing. The neat thing about patterns is once you recognize it and you acknowledge, I have a pattern, it's no longer a habit or a pattern anymore. Now it's a choice. And this is what gives you back some power. Yes, you might have been in a pattern all your life. I agree. But now you're looking at it with awareness. Shoot, I've been doing that all my life. Once I connect the dots, once I'm aware, it's no longer a pattern. Now it's a choice. And that gives people more empowerment instead of this, oh, well, it's just a pattern. That's just who I am. I'm doomed to be doing this for the rest of my life. No, take it as the opposite. I figured this out and now I'm going to empower myself and I'm going to break it. I'm going to do whatever I can in my power to change, to be aware. Okay, I usually do this. This time I'm going to do something different. It's really empowering and exciting when you realize you have the power to make the choices that are better for you.
I think as humans, we have a tendency to go on autopilot. And I don't think that, the while technology is beautiful and wonderful, and look at, we're talking right now, and, we don't have to be in the same room. It's great, but I think that it can also work against us, and it makes us go on autopilot so that we don't take that time to reflect. And I think that's part of every single conversation as it relates to our health and wellness. If we don't take that time, whatever it is, to not have a phone in our hands, to not have a computer in our face, to, I always say, like, go back to like how the farmers would live. Like I actually wrote an entire article on that, Brenda, because I think the first way to actually know how you feel is by doing that. Right? Because so many people don't know because they're constantly numbing everything with all of these distractions that are all around us.
And the funny thing is they're numbing. And then if say they're having a deep conversation with a friend, they'll start pointing out all their friends' issues because they're deflecting. Like, okay, I don't want to look at with him. Oh, you're not doing this right. Or you should have been doing this and you should have dated this guy. It's like, have you looked at yourself? But no, they don't want to. So they'll deflect or they'll numb. And the ask is take 15 minutes a day, 1-5, and just sit with yourself. No music, no phone, just your thoughts. And people hate it. But if you can get over that first 15 minutes, maybe start with 5 minutes. Maybe 15 minutes is asking too much. Start with 5 minutes. If you can do that, then try it for 6 minutes. Build your way to 15 minutes. But the more you do that and learn about yourself, there's going to be this excitement within you because you're going to start to remember who you are without the numbing, without the programming, without the stuff that's not real. and start to go within and feel what's real. And if you need a good cry, let it out. It's all right. Do this alone when you can't be judged. It can be in your home. It can be in your car. It can be at a park. To be honest, when I had my spiritual awakening or awakening, whatever you want to call it, and I needed time to reflect, I had two young kids. I was working a corporate job. I was very, very busy. But I used to go into my walk-in closet and hide for 5 minutes and just sit there. And all that time, this voice in my head saying, how dare you? You don't deserve this time. Get out there and take care of you're a bad mom. You're this. I'm like, that's when I start to realize there is something inside of me that does not like me. And it's my negative ego that has gone through a lot of trauma because experiences we go through as children, sometimes a small experience where someone said, that was nothing. How could you have any issues? Do you think that's a big experience? But to a child, something very small can affect them very deeply. A cut eye from a parent, maybe just a small smack on the hand because the parents never hit them. But then you have some other people who go through tremendous abuse and they don't have as many issues as someone who had lighter stuff happen. So it's very unique. We can't say, oh, that person went through a lot. They deserve to have, issues. But this person lived a decent life from what I can see. So shouldn't have any. It doesn't work that way. We're all unique. We all came in with themes and challenges to learn. This is the exciting part about being on planet Earth. So if something happens to a child, that can stay with them and go into their subconscious. You messed up. You messed up. And that thing grows and grows. You messed up. You messed up. Now that child might be scared to try anything new. I might mess it up. And we all know those people that want to stay in their lives and their world is this big and they're scared to go beyond it because the negative beliefs are telling them you're going to fail. You're not good enough. You've messed up before. Don't even bother. So it's about knowing thyself, understanding what's in the subconscious. It's one of the most powerful things you can do, but it also can be one of the scariest things to do.
So I just want to touch on this, and this isn't to, shame anybody who's done it or whatever, but one of the things that I just want to caution people about, and I learned this from you, Brenda. I've done a few shows on psychedelics, like talks on ayahuasca and all of that. And they are they're psychedelic plant medicines that can really crack you open. Like I've done shows and have heard some things that were a little scary. And one of the things that I learned from you is that sometimes, and again, like you said, we're all unique beings, doing that can be too much for you. And I've actually heard stories where, people come back from an ayahuasca retreat. They're never the same person again. They blow up their lives. They divorce their spouse. They, like all kinds of things, because it's almost like that plant medicine, or even if somebody has that kind of control over you versus you and your own higher self having that control, it can make you go too far into deep exploration that your higher self may not be ready to deal with. Can you expand on that a little?
Yeah, so life is all about balance, right? And sometimes when people have an awakening or they get very excited about spirituality, they will want to fast track. They want to know and do everything right away. So they will, I think, sometimes unsafely do too many things. Like they'll go have an ayahuasca trip, which not against to go to one, enjoy it. You'll release a lot, not the most comfortable way to do so, but but then they keep going to that, or they'll go on mushrooms and not overdose because they're still alive, but keep doing that because they give you a sense of invincibility. They give you a sense of knowing. These are teachers. You take it, you learn about your potential. So it takes you maybe on a trip and someone all of a sudden they're connecting to their higher self more, they're more knowing, and they love that feeling. And then they continuously want that feeling. But what that teacher taught you is you have the ability to get there. So we have to kind of work our way to get there. But people don't want to do the work because the work is work. We all know, like anyone who does this type of work of self-exploration, self-healing knows it's quite the journey. But so there's some people that will say, well, I'm not going to do the work. I'm just going to keep going up here with these psychedelics or whatever it is. But they're missing all that learning and teaching they need. And then they become unbalanced. And I've seen this happen to some people where I have seen some have taken their lives because they lost the fabric of reality. It gets confusing. And then there's others that believe they're a guru now. That, oh, you guys have to listen to me. I know everything. And I don't want to talk to anybody in 3D anymore. And they just live this illusion or delusional life that they're better than everyone else and they've done everything, but they actually haven't gone to the core of who they are. So they become unbalanced. It's all about learning about yourself and growing. And we do have the light within us. And we do have dark. It's just humanity, right? It's the 2 points of us. When we're healing, we're tapping into those darker parts of us, learning about them and saying, hey, I don't need this anymore. Thank you. Goodbye. It's gone, right? More light comes in. And then another pattern of behavior shows up and you deal with that. So it's a gradual learning about yourself, learning. And as you're doing this, your vibration will increase, your frequency will increase, your light quotient increases. So I can get there very easily now. I can get into a state of bliss. I don't need any drugs. But it's taken me 16 years of working on myself, and I'm very passionate about working on myself. Very passionate. Every single day, I was either I meditate every day, and I started at 30 seconds. I could not meditate beyond that, actually 15 seconds. I can now meditate for 3 hours, but I don't have time to meditate for 3 hours a day, but I could. And it's a blissful place, but reality is here in the 3D, the tangible. So I can't just escape in that, which I did for a while during COVID, because it felt really nice in meditation. But you have to bring what we learn and use it in our everyday. And as we're learning and growing, we're expanding. But as you start to do this work, you will get to that higher state of vibration where things are more vibrant and colorful. Everywhere you go, everyone looks happy because you're in a different vibration. So some people, so it becomes a little bit off balance because they're trying to rush it. So this is the way I see healing. If you're really dedicated to yourself and you're very passionate, your higher mind, your divine mind, your higher self, your soul. So I'm going to call it many different things because everyone's calling it something different. Here we are, this physical body, which we came to experience. And we're like spirits having a human experience. So our higher self is always watching out for us. It knows everything about us, right? So when I want to tap into it, it's easy now because I have a clear connection. But in 2009, I was in a very dark place. That connection was still there, but I couldn't hear it. So I was making wrong decisions. The subconscious programming of my negative beliefs just led me into bad situations and danger. Now, did I want to fast track into where I am now? I never had that urge to fast track. I just had an urge to work on myself. But we do meet people, and there's all this thing with spiritual bypassing. You can't bypass spiritual awakenings. It doesn't even make sense that they coined the spiritual bypass. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to fight with anyone about that. I don't think it makes sense because our journey is our journey. and it's led by our higher self. It's all divine timing. So,
Yeah. You know what? Like, I think this is really important to note. Everybody is at their own place in their journey when they start working on themselves. So, like you, back in 2010 and 2011, I was in a really dark place. And that was when my daughter was diagnosed with cancer and I was diagnosed with cancer within a year of each other. So, the way I began to explore was through feng shui. And Brenda, like, it made me feel better because I'm like, okay, let me make sure and that's when I started learning about energy. Let me make sure that the energy in my home is good, is clear. I still have some practices that I do, but that was back in 2011. I don't feel I need to give feng shui per se that power anymore. You see what I'm saying? But if somebody else is starting there with kind of exploring energy and how it feels in their home and all of that, I still do shows on it because I think it's kind of cool. And it's a great way to introduce energy flow in your home, how energy feels when it feels off. And I think it's great. But everybody's kind of in their own place. And I think not fast tracking, like we were talking about, is a good way to begin to explore these negative beliefs, maybe through meditation. Like you said, 5 minutes of quiet, work up to 15. I've always said, listen, don't go jogging with headphones on in nature. Take them off and go for a walk and hear the sounds all around you. That is meditation. And then also hear what pops up in your brain as you're walking, because you might be walking and going, I'm such an idiot for doing that or saying that. Right. And then, like you said, you can go back home and go, oh, interesting. Why did that pop into my head? And maybe write it down and work on it. But I think this is all very important to say everybody can start where it's right for them, but fast tracking it may not be ideal.
yeah, I would agree because there are many different ways that lead us to the same thing. Right? Sometimes it's books, sometimes it's exercise that then wakens someone into health. And we're all so different. If we all follow the same track to enlightenment, it would be boring, right? So
True.
the main thing there that I would say is be true to yourself and know that these, plant medicines are there. Nothing wrong with them. Just use them safely and use them in moderation because the deep work, that deep introspection still needs to happen. It really
Yeah.
does. So,
So let's get into beam therapy a little bit because I think beam therapy is definitely one of the most original ways that I have done work on myself. I like it because I've had some, weird experiences with people who do Reiki. And I'm like, I don't know if I want somebody to have that kind of energy. I don't know if control's the right word. You'll probably have a better word. I want to be the one who's in charge. I want to be the one, right? So beam therapy allows that. Can you explain a little bit how beam therapy works?
sure. And I'm just going to, I'll explain beam therapy, but what I would like to say about just all energy healing. When you work with someone, always work with someone that knows they're not the one doing the work. All they're doing, and all I do, is we create a healing space. In this healing space, we can bring everyone's unique. I bring in these beings of light, very high vibrational love, and they work with the client's higher self. So it's really your higher self that's in charge of your healing. And your mind you can block it or you can allow it, more allowing. But that's what's happening. You're really the healer in all of this. We're co-creating a healing session, but you are your own healer. All right. This is just a supportive method. Beam therapy was created by a medical doctor, Dr. Beatty, Dr. Joan Beatty. She lived in Toronto. She still lives in Toronto, but she's now retired. And I'm still friends with her and I still see her, but she's no longer taking patients. My only complaint with beam therapy is that Dr. Beatty never wanted it to get big. So her website was always very bad. She never advertised it because she was a medical doctor and she dealt with people with beam therapy only on 2 days a week. So people who find beam therapy, I do advertise it because I always feel people who resonate it find it. And that's how people will find it. So you found it because you were ready for it. Beam therapy is a simple yet powerful process, and it allows your higher self to be in charge. And what it does in a very loving way, sometimes uncomfortable for some, but it's interactive in that the client, the person who's coming for beam therapy, whether it's individual or in groups, it comes in a state of allowance, ready to heal whatever's up for healing. Generally, I call it a layer. Inside a layer that's created by your higher self. So your higher self knows you're going to have a beam therapy session. It then goes through all these different layers of your psyche, of your cellular memories, of all this stuff. And it pulls out this big cloud of messy stuff. It could be trauma when you're in your mom's tummy. It could be trauma when you're 1, 2, 3, 4 years old, any age to your current age. It can be even past lives. And even when you were inside your mom's tummy, we pick up a lot of trauma. We also pick up traumas from our ancestral lines, our family constellation issues, things that we have seen, but they didn't happen to us. I saw it in a movie, or I was walking, I saw this happen. Things we see, things we experience, things that we hear, they stay in our energetic field. They're held in our cell memories. Sometimes things make a big impact to us and can cause a lot of dysfunction and trauma in our systems. Sometimes it is something we don't remember at all, but it remembers, our cells remember. Sometimes it is something we remember and we forgave it, but our cells still remember, so it hasn't fully forgiven from our system. So there's a lot of stuff that comes up in the healing. I can't explain it in words. It's something that the human mind is hard to understand. So this is why when I work with clients, I allow the intelligence of this infinite intelligence, of these beings of light, of your higher self to take over. I am nowhere near understanding of what's being done. I've been doing this for 15 years. I understand the profound benefits. I understand what people feel during the process. I kind of have an idea what they're doing, but I don't fully understand it. So my job in a healing session is to hold the space and support the client. Beam therapy goes through a process of 10 phrases. In these 10 phrases, not everyone's going to use the same phrases. So you might have 5 phrases during a session. You might use 6, you might use 7. They can change with every session you have. But in a session, what's happening as we go through different areas on our body, these are areas of cell memories. And our cell memories hold different memories or different feelings or hurts in different areas. I'll just give you a quick example. When we're dealing with the area under the nose and the chin, it's usually to do with shame and embarrassment. When we're talking about the throat area, it's not standing up for yourself, unspoken words. So everywhere, like here, it's usually heartbreak, things that made you sad. So one incident that happened, let's say you were bullied as a child, that trauma, that experience becomes trauma we hold. And it can be held in different areas because There was embarrassment from it. I didn't stand up for myself. Oh, my dad yelled at me because I wasn't strong enough. That's a different trauma from it. And it's held in our field. As we release during beam therapy, a lot of stuff leaves your field. As it's leaving your field, you may remember the incidents, you may not remember them. You don't need to remember them. The beauty of beam therapy is a lot of that stored energy that's no longer serving you. Traumas, negative beliefs, things you've seen that didn't make you feel good, hurts, leave your energetic system. It leaves it for good. That layer is completely gone. And then this beautiful light weaves through your essence, raising your vibration and frequency, and that becomes the new you. So you may have started beam therapy here. After the beam therapy, you're here. And that's now your new baseline. You do another session, you go up again, and you go up again, and you go up again. One thing I know with beam therapy, it may not be the most comfortable, but it is powerful and it's always going to be beneficial. And why do I know that? Because your higher self is in charge and your higher self loves you. Your higher self knows where you've been, where you are, and where you're supposed to be. So it's going to release what's no longer needed. And if it's beneficial for you to remember something, you're going to remember what left. And if it's not beneficial, you're just going to let it go and you're just going to feel lighter. You're not going to know what left. So your higher self is in charge on what you remember, how you're processing it. Now, some people feel great 20 minutes after beam therapy. Some people take a few days as there's that integration that happens. But the actual session itself can take anywhere from an hour. When we're doing it in groups, it takes an hour to an hour and a half because I have to go through all 10 of them, which is exhausting for the people doing it and for myself. But very powerful method.
So I want to give just a real example, just so that people understand, because this happened. I've been working with Brenda for over a year now, and I can't even tell you, I don't even know how many sessions I've had. But, one thing that I will add to what you're saying is about how we're always picking up new stuff. So you never reach this peak and this summit and go, okay, I'm done now. I don't have to do any more work on myself ever again. Right? Because we can always pick up new stuff, and our higher self won't go and release it all at once. It will only allow whatever you're able to kind of handle at the time. Right? And then I want to talk about this one situation. So one of the phrases that Brenda has for beam therapy is abandonment, right? So you think, okay, Sandy, like you grew up and you've had both your parents your whole life, you still do, good family unit, never, I haven't had divorce or really serious loss. But wait a second. In one of my sessions, I started to get tears. This was in the summer, Brenda. I did a beam therapy session, and during abandonment, I started to have tears, and I had an actual vision of me in the birthing room after I gave birth to my daughter. And it was like this, it was so crazy because this vision came over me. My daughter came out blue. She had the cord wrapped around her neck. Her feet were blue. They couldn't get her to breathe. She never was put on my chest. They took her away to another room immediately. And everybody followed, my husband, the doctor. I was left there bleeding on the birthing table with one nurse. And then I was like, oh my God, like it never occurred to me, but both my daughter and myself experienced that abandonment at the same time. And it was so profound that, I mean, she's 20 years old. I had never really thought of that. And that never even occurred to me that both of us had this experience. And I know I told you about it, Brenda, but I was like, oh my gosh. So that was a very powerful healing moment for me that I never, ever even thought of.
Yeah, that's the thing. We absorb so much, everything we experience, and we just assume, hey, that's life. And we don't realize how much these experiences affect us. They hurt us. They hurt our soul. They hurt us deeply. And they're in our field replaying and replaying. And we're wondering, why don't we feel whole, or why don't we feel at peace? It's because all these things are in there needing to come out for healing. When you said that we never reach here, yes, we can pull up and experience new traumas. I have come to a place in my life where I don't do that so much anymore. I'm very level-headed. I make the right decisions finally, you know. So, but still, I still have things to heal, and I will heal until the day I transition off this planet. We are multi-dimensional beings with a lot of histories and lots of different lifetimes. So that can kind of throw people off. But we came here to heal a lot of humanity's issues, including ourselves. So there's unlimited healing to be done. So we can do this forever and ever and ever. But the cool thing of it is we always get lighter. We always get lighter. We always get lighter. We always get lighter. And it's that feeling. And maybe that's why I'm so passionate about my healing, because when I do a healing and I then become accustomed to that. But then when I do another one, I get that, wow, like that, oh, everything's so clear again. So I'm always expanding my perception, learning about myself and humanity and the understanding of how the universe works. So if you want, you can continue. It's endless. It's unlimited, really, right? So it's like you get out of a box, then you're in the room, and then you break the ceiling off that, and you go to the upstairs, that was a big, and then you break the ceiling out of the house, and you just keep going and going. So we never really have to stop. So you keep going and going. But then it comes down to those things that we've forgotten about that are in our system. And you had a profound breakthrough.
It was massive. Like, it was massive. And you know what's really interesting, Brenda? I posted about it. And you know how, listen, I know you're not as much on social media as I am, but you know how sometimes when something is so deeply profound in your heart and you share it with others, and then it goes viral because it's just so profound and so real and so authentic. That happened to me afterwards because I shared it with other people. I'm like, it was just, I can't, you know how you say there's some things you just can't put into words. But beam therapy is one way that I really, really find helps with a lot of this clearing. And then what I have noticed, because it's been a year, is that some of these patterns, these arguments, these disagreements, these even friendships that don't really fit and never really did. And it's not about saying, oh, I hate your guts and I have all this resentment, or that's not what this is about. It just kind of falls away because it doesn't support who you're becoming. And like you said, like your light quotient is going higher, and it's not about shaming them who are staying here. It's about just your own personal journey and where you can go.
Yeah. It's so fabulous. Like I work with many different people and everyone's lives are so different. So what they release and how they react, and some people, they come in, and sometimes people have these profound shifts. Like I used to get a little bit envious back then because my journey's been very long, but some people will come in and they're having a session with me. They're Their love life is not good. Their work is not good. Everything about them is not good. They're complaining. They're crying. They're at my door crying. They come in for a session. One session, I don't hear from them for about 2 weeks. All of a sudden, I get this email saying, Brenda, you will not believe what happened since that session. I got a better job. I now have a boyfriend. I'm working out. It's like I'm a new person. I don't know who I am.
That's great.
That person was just ready to release something that was really holding them back. So it's like this. I never know what I'm going to get. People are ready to release what they're ready to release. I'll support whatever that is. But imagine a jar. And everyone tries to open up the jar, and everyone's trying to open up the jar. And then somebody gets the jar and they go, poof, and it opens up, right? That person who opened up the jar because of all the other people who put in the energy to make it loose, right? So when I have a profound shift with a client, I don't take it as that was me. I think, wow, I'm blessed to have experienced that awakening or that change that person had, because my session with that person just happened to be the one that went poop, and they went, wow, like that. Now, there's a lot of people that come for beam therapy or other sessions that are more like me, usually light workers, old souls. We tend to carry a lot of trauma because that's what we came in for. So every time we kind of loosen the jar, it's a layers going, a layers going, a layers going. And then sometimes in a session, boop, it opens because they're ready. We have to release so much before we can get to those deep, 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 deep core beliefs, because you cannot just go dig down into a core belief and rip it open. It's very intricate. There's different layers. There's this attaches to this and this attaches to that. And that's why I hand over the sessions to the divine guidance of the client's higher self and these beings of light that come through me, because they know what's best for the client. They know what's best. Oh, this needs to go first. Oh no, that before that 2-year-old trauma can come up. She had an 18-year-old trauma that's related, and something on 23 related. And all those have to really loosen up before we can go deep down there. Right? So we heal layer by layer with patience, with excitement, challenges. Like, it's exciting. I get very excited when someone comes in and they're all upset, and that just means it's up in their field. We release it and they feel lighter. Did they have that big awakening shift in everything in their life? Maybe not, but they're more aware of their feelings. They're feeling lighter. They have more inner peace. They can articulate their feelings better. And it's a progression, right? It's a subtle changes. The mean neighbor's not yelling at me anymore. People have reported, going to work, and everyone who used to be mean to them is now not. And I said, well, say if I told you that negative belief you're holding was actually creating them to be mean to you. I'm not good enough. Treat me a little badly. I'm not good enough. So they were. You got rid of that energetic pattern. You go into work. You're not telling people energetically, treat me badly anymore. And all of a sudden, everybody's treating you with respect. They didn't change. You changed. That's
Ooh,
how
okay.
powerful we are.
Yeah, that's big. So what I will say is, when we work, this is what Brenda's taught me, when we work on ourselves, even though the person in our lives, our partner, our children, whatever, they haven't done the healing, everybody around you, you and them, will benefit from it.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it's
I
that
always,
powerful.
it's that powerful. I always, if there's a woman or a male that comes to me, and if they're the head of the house, female, male, doesn't matter, I say, you work on yourself. You will start to see your house, your interactions with your family change into more positive interactions. Your house is going to bring more love and harmony and joy in it. As you change, We heal our family lines. We heal people around us. We heal and we change our circumstances. So I always say I do as much work as I do for many different reasons. One, it was for personal, but then when I realized the benefits to my parents, to my siblings, to my children, why would I ever stop if I have the power to do this? I have the motivation to do this. Why would I not do it? It's a gift for me and then my family. But not only that, it also adds positivity to the world.
Mhm.
It's to the human collective. So it's a personal healing, but it's a collective healing. And that's how powerful each and every one of us is. But the trick to healing is you need to be passionate about it. It's people will say, "Oh, Brenda, I'm going to come to you just so you know. Doctors can't fix me. I've gone to a psychologist, a psychiatrist, to this doctor, to that doctor. I'm going to come to you to prove that I'm unfixable." I'm like, why waste your money? You don't want to be fixed. You want to prove, and you're so powerful. You can prove that you're unfixable.
Yeah.
So why waste your money? Why waste my time? But no, I need to do this. I need to prove it. So I said, okay, come in with an open mind. I can feel their resistance, and I still will give them the best session I can give them because it might release something in their field that make them softer. But sometimes they come back, and I want you to know, Brenda, you prove my point. Nothing will help me. And I said, well, if that's what I needed to serve you with, then I'm glad you got your service. And I then send intentions that may she open up when she's ready. So you cannot force this work on anyone. You can't force, oh, I'm doing beam therapy or I'm doing energy work, I'm doing this. You have to do it, and you drag your husband or your kids in. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
We're all very unique. We're ready when we're ready, right? So the thing is, you're feeling good. You want to tell the world. They're not going to listen if they're not ready. So what do? Sandy, you do exactly what you're doing. You lead by example. You talk about it. You tell people, hey, this is what worked for me. Hey, guys, this is what worked for me. Being therapy saved my life. And it opened me up to all the gifts I've always had. It's made me more confident to own who I am. Although I'm a corporate girl, I got this unique gift that makes me a little bit weird. And that was hard to deal with. But now, over the times of all that healing, I realized I'm this and that. This is who I am. I am Brenda Farrugia. I have a gift to help heal and support, and I'm doing the best I can. Like me or not, this is what I am. And it really helps us become our authentic selves, just to own who we are.
I want to expand on what you said about how the resistance can actually be an impedance to helping you. So, this is why you can't force, and this is kind of the world we live in, right, Brenda? Where people are trying to force their opinions on everyone else and they're angry and mad, and you got to believe in what I say. And it's like, you can't do that. Human nature is free will, right? And so you're going to find this interesting because this rule, it's like the general rule of the world, where you can't force somebody to do anything, healing work, and even if like your client said nothing works for me. Well, that kind of resistance will hold you back. So my daughter, this goes with nutrition too. You're going to find this funny. So I give certain nutritional protocols to my kids, and they take supplements that are specifically targeted for their needs. And a couple times she'll be like, "Oh God, like, do I have to take this? Like, I hate taking supplements." And I'm like, "Okay, don't take them today. Your body will not benefit from them. If you are resistant to this, there's no point." And I actually will say, don't take them. Don't bother. And same thing with food, like I always joke and say, I think that being children of a nutritionist, a holistic nutritionist, it's like their way of rebelling is to like bring McDonald's into the home,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And so they know how I feel about that food,
Yeah.
but they don't feel that way. So I'm like, okay, well, I feel that way. So if I were to eat it, it will probably do more damage to me than it will to them. And I'm like, when I was 20, 24, 25, I didn't really care either. So I just let it go because I also don't want to put, even though they know how I feel in general, I let it go. I'm like, I'm not going to be like standing at the door like the guard and the bouncer that says that food is not allowed in, right?
Absolutely. Like I don't sit there and make my kids meditate. Oh, you have to meditate. You have to do this. But my kids, because I've always been easy with them with this stuff, is they will say, "Hey, mom, I really need a beam therapy session," or "Mom, I need that type of session today because I feel something's bothering me." They'll come. I never push it because when you push something, it pushes them away. Just like I know friends that are both teachers, and their first child didn't finish high school because they're always on him. Do you know how many? Do you have two teachers? Can you imagine? He went the totally opposite way. I'm done with this. So the parents now, in hindsight, said, "Oh, I think you just let him be. He'll come back to where he wants." But we're all unique beings. We all came here to experience our own lives. It's great to, hey, there's an option, good food, there's options, supplements, there's good, meditate, all that stuff you can do. But if you force it, you just push them in the opposite direction. So just allow them to be.
Yeah. Okay. So we are coming close to the end. And I want to share with the people who are listening something that they can take away today, something that they can do right now that's extremely powerful. This is actually neuroscience. I know I learned this from you, Brenda, and I do this every single day. And it's short, 3 phrases. And you can take this away and then choose if you want to go deeper and work deeper, then you can work with Brenda. So, can you talk about that? I know you know what
Yeah,
three
yeah, I know what
phrases.
you're talking about.
Can you talk
Okay,
about that?
very quickly, as quickly as I can.
Yeah.
We are in a new energy on earth where when we know we have a negative belief, there's a simple process you can do on your own to break it. Back in the day, I say this wouldn't work, but in this new energy, it works. And this is not spirituality. This is just an instruction manual on how negative beliefs work, how our psyche works. All right. So imagine a negative belief. They've been on this planet for thousands of years. Negative beliefs have bothered humanity for that long. It's a consciousness. It knows how our brains work. When it latches onto someone's brain, it puts them into a cycle. A cycle. I'm not good enough. 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 And it stays there. Now we live our life with this thing in the background. I'm not good enough. Now, if you do take the steps where you monitor your negative thoughts and one comes up, we'll use I'm not good enough as an example. I'm not good enough. Wonder where that came from. You write it down. Then you can use this 3-step process at your leisure. And if you want more information on it, I've kind of written up a protocol on it. I'd be happy to email it to you. And it says, I feel I'm not good enough. And I feel I'm not good enough because I choose to. And I choose to because I believe it serves me to feel this way. Then you sit quietly. Why would me feeling I'm not good enough serve me? How is that logical? And when you can see it as being illogical, I'm saying I'm not good enough and it serves me, I choose this. No, I don't choose this. And if you can see the logic of it being illogical, then you simply say, I'm breaking this negative belief. It is insensible. It is illogical. I'm done with it. It no longer serves me. And that simple process in this energy works. And the reason it works is the 3 steps that we said, those 3 sentences, move you from a part of your brain developing a new neurological pathway in a different part of your brain where it says, wait a second, this loop you've been in for 20, 30 years doesn't make any sense. It breaks it, and then you develop a new pathway, and it breaks the negative belief. One thing is we have many, many, many negative beliefs. The core belief, a core belief can have tertiary and secondary beliefs. So then if that angst hasn't gone away, then you broke a negative belief that might be a secondary, tertiary. You haven't hit the core one. So sit with yourself again and wait for the other feeling, emotion, or negative belief to come in, and then use that. So you might have another one. I'm not good enough. And you do the same process. I feel I'm not good enough, and I feel I'm not good enough because I choose to, and I choose to because I believe it serves me to feel this way. Why would it serve me to feel I'm not good enough? It doesn't. You break that, you go through the next one. If you really are serious about getting better and breaking negative beliefs, give your time to yourself to sit through this process and break them one by one. Eventually, during a sitting of maybe 20 minutes, maybe an hour, depends how many you have, you're going to feel this like shift, and you're going to feel lighter. So that is a very powerful process anyone can do. And I've explained this to so many people. Sometimes they have to hear the process 9 to 11 times before they start doing it. But once they start doing that, they said, Brenda, this is life-changing. I wish I did it the first time you told me. The more you use this process, the less you need it.
Yeah. And now what I do, so, we're talking about meditation and taking quiet time or whatever. If this is something you resonate with, this could be your 15 minutes of quiet during the day. I do this. So, what I do now, because I've been doing this a while with you and alone because you've taught it to me, is I will go on these almost like these, I call them my little limiting belief walks, where I walk with my dog in nature and I'm like, okay, how do I feel? Okay, I feel really scared about, the state of the world. I'm just using that as an example. And then I'm like, I feel really scared because I choose to. And I go through the process. I mean, I'm talking to myself as I'm walking in the forest, but who cares? I don't really care. I do whatever. And then by the time when I go through this process, by the time I get home, I feel lighter. Then I'll, cook my dinner. And then I'm like, okay, I feel lighter. And so I guess people will say, well, when do I do this? Anytime you feel almost like this heaviness, or you just feel off, or you're not sure how you feel, or when you sit down and allow yourself to go through this process, it's amazing how you get this like immediate lift when you're done.
It can be a feeling like I feel anxious, right? Or it can be, I feel I'm not good enough. So it could be a negative belief, it could be a feeling, it could be an emotion. But if it's something that's causing angst, bring it to the surface, acknowledge that it's there, and then do I feel scared, I feel worried, I feel helpless, like whatever it is, and work through it, because trust me, there's a lot happening that you don't understand, but you are breaking some serious energetic patterns that have been causing harm without you knowing it. You
Yeah.
get lighter and lighter and more clear and more of who you really are. And we all deserve to feel peace within and create the reality that we want.
This was so good, Brenda. Where can people find you?
Sobrilliant.ca. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm on YouTube. I have a website. I do group healings. Beam therapy is now in groups. You can experience that way, one-on-ones. And there's some free meditations on YouTube as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and all the good that you do in the world, Brenda.
Thank you. And keep shining your light, because to me, you are the prime essence of an example of someone who shines your light, and you don't push your stuff, but you do teach it and allow people to see it from a very raw point of view. You're very authentic in your delivery,
Thank
and
you.
that's what the world needs, to know that if she did it, I can do it.
Thank you, my dear. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to share it with someone you know might benefit. And always remember, when you rate, review, subscribe, you help to support my content and help me to keep going and bringing these conversations to you each and every week. Join me next week for a new topic, new guest, new exciting conversations to help you live your best life.